Hi guys. So this is a video about tomatoes, specifically Sungold tomatoes. As I've said in a previous video, they are my favorite cherry tomato on earth, best one on earth. So this is what they look like when they're done. See the gold? That's the color they are. And they pop right off when they're ready to be picked. And then, so good. So good. As you can see, I've got some, and they're gold. Most color they are. Now these red ones. So last year I had a couple Sungold plants here. I planted this year's Sungold right here. But a few of them down on this end came back from last year. And I wanted to see what was going to happen. Well, as you can see, they don't turn that gold color. And when you go to grab a tomato, you shouldn't have to pull hard. It should pop right off in your hand. That's how you know it's really ripe. Perfect for picking. Not going to get that at the grocery store because it's too ripe. But anyway, if you look at the difference, they're red now. They're not that Sungold color. They look similar. You wouldn't be able to tell until once they start to mature, like this one. When you see how easy that came off, you just pull a little bit. Oh, that one's not quite as ready. That one's ready. So this is what your Sungold looks like. So this is not an heirloom breed. This is a hybrid. This tomato seed is specifically grown a specific way by putting two tomatoes together, and they genetically, I don't know if they splice them at this point or whether they just cross-pollinate them and keep those seeds and then try those seeds to come back. But you don't want to save your Sungold tomato seeds, because next year you're going to get this. You're not going to get that beautiful Sungold, sweet, tangy taste that you would get. You're going to get something similar. You might get something totally different that you don't even like. So keep that in mind when I talk to you about saving your seeds. Pick a variety that is not a hybrid. Sometimes now they're calling them open pollinated. In every seed book, which is why I always tell people to get a seed catalog and not order online unless you know what you're specifically looking for. Like, you could order a Sungold hybrid tomato anywhere from any company that has it, and it's going to be a Sungold tomato. However, when you're talking about having seeds or a tomato that you're going to keep every year and then use again and reseed instead of having to buy seeds, you want a heritage breed. So your heritage is something that will come back true to whatever it was grown for. A lot of them are indeterminate, which I had a video on that, versus determinate. Your climate, whether or not, especially with like onions, you have to have long day and short day onions versus the north and the south, depending on the light. But with your vegetables, with these kind of things, your heirloom is going to be, look for your climate, look for your code. In every good seed catalog, it's going to have a code, a key to the codes in the very front few pages. And it'll tell you like OP is open pollinated, or HE is heirloom, or HY is a hybrid. So you know what your opportunities are for seed saving, or what else you can do with your seeds and what you can do with the crops when you're done with the crops. So most of mine, when I'm done, I'll dig it, pull it all out, and it'll go back out to the goats and the chickens. Whoever will eat it. But you have to be very conscious of seeds when you save them. And if you don't know, you can always save some and try. Like I did this year. I just let them go. I had a hard time pulling. The tomatoes were having such a tough time here this summer because it just, like today, I think it's supposed to be a high of 72. It's beautiful weather for me, but I'm not a tropical plant trying to produce fruit. So the tomatoes are a little sad that they didn't get that hot weather. Oh, look, you can see the geese are coming in. I don't know if you can see them anymore. Yeah, it's that time of year. This morning when I came out, it was all foggy from the pond, and the steam was coming off the pond, and there were like 50 geese out there landing, and I was just like, I love it, but at the same time, it's so sad. Always so sad when summer's gone. Especially when summer seems so short because you're so busy. But it's Labor Day and summer's pretty much over. We all know tomorrow's school. Tomorrow we got to go back to work. So I'm excited to see the kids and start letting them do their experiments and having fun. So it'll be good. It'll be a good year. Back to the seeds. Order your seed catalogs. Don't just buy what you want. And if you go somewhere and you're picking up a seed packet and it's not marked, like some of the burpee aren't marked, tell the company you're buying it, where the store you're at. Say, you need to give me an opportunity to purchase seeds that are packaged the correct way so that I know what's in them. Because you're eating this stuff. You should be able to tell by what's on the packaging whether or not it's an heirloom or whether or not it's a hybrid or whether or not it's been genetically modified. So I had a lady one time tell me that farmers have been genetically modifying things for like hundreds and hundreds of years. And I was like, no. We have been crossbreeding varieties to try and get a different type of product or fruit or berry or, veggie out of it. So for example, your Honeycrisp apples, I do believe, I'll do Jazz because I just looked Jazz up and you can't only buy them in Australia or some New Zealand or someplace, but the Jazz is a Braeburn and a Gala mix. So what they did were they took the Braeburn apple tree and they took a Gala apple tree and they cross-pollinated them and then they saved those seeds and they made a new type of apple. I love them. They're the best apples I've ever had. This is why I was looking them up because I would like to grow them. But you can't because they're still under patent. So people, can, and you can't buy them outside of New Zealand. And if you do, you got to go through all this paperwork. And I just want a couple trees on in my little orchard. So I don't know what to tell you. But that's what we've been doing for hundreds and hundreds of years. Genetically modified is where they, in a lab, chemically or laserly splice the genes of a individual plant or seed, and they put something into it to allow it to have more pesticides dumped on it, to allow it to have more herbicides put on it. And it's called something. Farmers will sometimes, for the wheat, when they want your wheat to be harvested, they'll spray it. Put a whole bunch of it out in the field because it kills the plant. When the plant starts to die, it wants to reproduce, which is the whole point of having seed heads on wheat and oats and stuff. And what it'll do is it will send all of its energy up into the seeds, which is the wheat berries, which is what we grind up and have flour out of. But when it does that, it sucks up all that pesticide and that herbicide too. Because it's just sucking moisture out. It doesn't have, like a two-fuel injection system where it takes out the impurities and only puts the good stuff in there. It's dying, so it's sending every bit of energy it has up there, and they'll do that, so it'll kill everything. And then after, a week or I don't know how many days it is, they go out and then they harvest it, they combine it, and they get all the seeds off of it. But they chemically killed the plants to push the seeds so they could get them into the food system. Which I guess, if you don't mind having some of the herbicides and pesticides in your body, it's fine. I mean, yeah, go ahead. So anyway, that's what genetically modified. They modified that seed so that when they grow the oats and they're going to do the extra, Roundup or glyphosate or whatever is the hottest thing on the market now, that they can just spray it and then they won't have to worry about it. It won't kill it'll kill the plant when they overdose it, but they can spray it all year long. And some farmers, I know, if you listen to like the Rural Network and you listen to Ag Report, you listen to all these different places when the farmers come on, when you talk to your commercial farmers, they'll tell you, well, this is the time that we put this many tons of this on our acres to fertilize it. And then this is the time when we come in, in a couple of weeks, we got to start putting down our nitrogen. And we got to come in, and of course, it's not like real nitrogen, like horse poop or hay bales that they put out in there to, slowly compost. They're in a rush. It's commercial, commercial grade farm. It's commercially farmed. So we're going to go out and we're spraying it. And then, it makes it grow. Yeah, it does, but it's not a fertilizer that stays in the ground. It's not a fertilizer that builds soil. It's a fertilizer that's just there to like Miracle-Gro, you know, you put it in your summer annuals so that they've got a lot of color, but it doesn't give it lifelong nutrients. It doesn't promote healthy growth in your systems, in your, you know, your fields or your soil or your microbiome, I guess is what the word I'm looking for. You don't get that. So, yeah, this could be a beautiful garden. I could be in here dumping chemicals in it, and I could be spraying Roundup around my trees and my rhubarb, and I could be throwing about pesticide out there so I can kill all the slugs that are eating my rhubarb leaves or my, you know, my green beans, or eating all my potato leaves. I could do that. I mean, it'd look prettier. But what am I doing to my soil? What am I doing to those butterflies that I saw on the dill? What am I going to do with all the crickets and the grasshoppers? And what about the snakes that are out here? All my grass snakes that are eating those crickets and those caterpillars? And what about the birds that come in and eat all of the aphids off my trees? Or the frogs that come out here? Or the spiders that are out here? I mean, yeah, I could have a beautiful yard that's dead. There's no life in it. No salamanders, no snakes, no frogs, no crayfish. I mean, I have crayfish in my yard. I don't know why. I mean, I got by a big pond, but crayfish. I've never had crayfish in my yard before. So, yeah, so when you're looking at your seeds, again, I'm complaining about commercial farming, but you need to know what you're buying. So, always try and buy a heritage or an heirloom. They're interchangeable terminology, and sometimes I call them open pollinated. That's just a way to try and confuse people, I think, because I always wonder why they keep changing the names on stuff once people get to understand what they're doing, and they're like, well, but I don't want that kind, I want the other kind. Because if you're a seed company and you have a patent on a specific seed, you get all the money and all the royalties for so many years. It's just like a pharmaceutical. It's just like a drug. So, there you go. Soapbox again. It must be Soapbox Day today. Anyway, there you go. There's some more information on heritage and heirloom and the differences you'll get. Have a good day, guys. Bye.